Welcome back to the Divergent Podcast, guys. Behind me, I have the podcast with Lachlan. A little bit about Lachlan, absolutely amazing guy. Right now, he's in Bali, but he didn't start off that way. He was actually an insurance broker, which to many people would be absolutely amazing. Why would you want to lose that job? Why would you want to quit? Then he was actually making $30K a month writing, which amazing at an age like that. But he left all that behind because it just didn't feel right. Then he went on his own self-development, personal growth journey. And now he's in Bali and he's absolutely killing it on social media. And he's helping other people as well. Check out this video. Cannot wait for you guys to get into it. You were making $30K per month writing, and previously were an insurance broker, which to many people, it's pretty good. What made you leave all of that behind to go to Bali and start a new life?
At the end of the day, I think the purpose behind what you're doing is very important. And when I was doing crypto writing, I was making good money, but it was almost like I was just a glorified insurance broker, putting in the hours, waiting to clock out at 5 or 6 p.m. just for that paycheck, and almost in a new prison. And it didn't feel aligned with like my higher self of actually helping people. So in Bali, I'm now pivoting out of crypto writing, taking an income hit, and trying to figure out something where I can actually give back to people and do what truly fulfills me rather than be on my computer doing crypto writing all day. Yeah, in crypto, there's just many categories of crypto like NFTs, gaming, decentralized finance, and the projects are pretty confusing sometimes, and a lot struggle to differentiate themselves. So I would just come in and I would do like articles and papers for them, helping with their branding, their marketing, explaining themselves. Turns out there's a pretty big market. They pay US dollar, and yeah, I kind of found a good niche by accident.
That's awesome. We're talking right now, which is interesting to me, about how you didn't feel that it was aligned with you, like something was off. Now, I hear a lot of times in business, people say don't put the emotions in it. And then there's a lot of other advice with listen to your intuition. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I probably could have just systematized it where I find a really good writer or two and I give everything to them and I just work a bit. But for me, I found that like a year ago, I wasn't very happy, even though I had the money and the travel. And I went more into the spirituality path of yoga and stuff like that. And I think there's almost like the spectrum where on the one end, someone is very analytical in their head, which a lot of guys are. And then on the other side, there's more like in your body and the flow of life, which, a lot of maybe spiritual or, women definitely on average are more so there. And when I'm on my computer all day, I'm very in my head and it's hard to just talk to people and vibe with the world and be in a good mood. Whereas when I do yoga or I'm in nature, you do something you like, you're much more on the go with the flow path. So for me, it was almost like this tug of like, I'm just delaying the inevitable of doing this job that I don't really love anymore. I'm not as passionate about the technical side of crypto and how the technology works. And I'm not passionate about being on my computer in my head all day. So, but I've overcome so many problems in my life, making money, making an international group of friends, spiritual advancement, much more. So I'm sure there's some way with all the skills and problems I've overcome, I can actually help people not be on my computer all day and still make money and have a great life. So that's kind of what went through my head.
That's awesome, man. When you were an insurance broker, where were you? What city?
I was in Toronto, Canada, dark and
No
cold all
way.
winter. Yeah.
Dude, those winters must be harsh. I hear though that my it's funny because my dad always talks about Canada. He's like, Zach, you got to get a girlfriend from Canada. You got to get away from Canada. They're so amazing. They're beautiful. They're just genuine people. So big fans of Canada.
Yeah, man. I spent 3 years wanting to go build out a cool life, and I think that just pain weighed on me because the longer you just delay your goals, that like emotional pain is a big driver for people, I think. And that's what kind of led me to want to work for myself and travel the world for the past 2.5 years.
That's interesting to me. So, because I've actually heard that where people will be at the point of change when they're surrounded by pain, meaning their past, their future and their present are so painful that they have to make a change and they just feel it. What was that point for you? Like you were just talking about, you just felt that pain. How long did you allow that to go? And I mean, everyone sees the amazing sides of making 30K per month, right? Writing for people or being an insurance broker. But what was like the flip side of that no one sees? What was behind the curtain of just the shit times, and how did you get through that?
Yeah, it wasn't like this one major rock bottom moment I had. It was more like the me telling myself I'm gonna go work online, me watching Jay Alvarez skydiving videos, me living for my vacations and having this amazing time where I'm meeting all these interesting people and in the jungle of Colombia or whatever. And I said I would quit for like years. And then finally, after 3 years, I did it. And I knew that when I first went through school, my undergrad, my parents paid for it, and I like didn't have much ambition. So I went to do my master's. I didn't know what I would actually do. But this time, when I was doing my master's in data, I knew that would open up doors for me. And I knew that if I paid for everything myself and took out a big loan, I would have that pressure on me. So and that was like a bit of a rough year as well, just because I didn't really take care of myself. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I didn't, have the spiritual advancement or introspection, self awareness to navigate that. It ended up working out, but I didn't have this like rock bottom moment. It was more just like the long delay of me saying I'm going to do something and not doing it, weighing on me until I finally took action into something that felt still safe. Because society tells you school is safe, which in some ways it is. And eventually, I had a boss again after that. I'm like, again, like, wow, having a boss sucks. So then I quit and it was much easier that time. And then I went off on my own.
Do you think the school and the master's was worth it? And why or why not?
I think if I knew everything I know now, absolutely not. I got like C's in my like classes. Like it's not like I was great and I learned everything. It did get me to where I am. I wouldn't have like discovered crypto if I didn't do it. I took over a student club and I learned how to bring on guests there. Like I would reach out to like Google and Amazon alumni. It was a kind of an excuse to get them on. Just like if you have a podcast, you have a reason to reach out to people and they say yes. I used that and that helped me get clients later on because I learned cold outreach, for example. So in some ways it gave me some skills, but was it worth 1 year of my life and like 50,000 euros or whatever? Like maybe not. Like people could just, that's why info products, obviously they're not all like the same quality, but like you can pay $3,000 and learn how to make $10,000 per month nowadays and save yourself a lot of time. So there's pros and cons to school. It can definitely be safer. You can definitely learn a lot of foundational skills like working with others, meeting deadlines, etc. But for me, I'm glad I did it because it got me here. Who knows what would have happened if I didn't? But in hindsight, if I know what I knew now, there's no reason I would go do it.
That's so interesting that you say that. And I love that you say that because I've been hearing this single theme with almost everyone I've been talking to, having on this Divergent podcast, which is they put themselves in a position where it's almost like they can't lose. They can't afford to lose. Like they put themselves in that place where there is a push for them. They have to go do something. And then also in the beginning, they are, whether they're at a shitty job or doing something that they don't like, but it's the experience of learning, of equipping themselves with the tools that they need, where then they make that jump. They go do what they actually want to do, what they're intended to do. And next thing you know, all the things for the past 2 or 3 years that you've been just getting through, just grinding, you have all those tools in your kit to now be able to create something amazing. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's a recurring theme, but it kind of makes sense. Like if you don't have pressure on yourself, why would you do anything? Like it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing with, I was talking to you before about my back surgery. Now I'm in Miami actually. So I just moved away from New York and it's a whole new city. So I feel like that's a huge common theme, which I'm really glad that you brought up. So you're living in Bali. What made you choose Bali out of all the places in the world?
Yeah, I was traveling and it was definitely weighing on me. Like nowhere feels like home. Will I actually find this place that feels like home? And this is a problem people that are traveling and working online have, is there's always this FOMO over other places. Or say I'm in Europe and it starts to get cold. There's just so many options if you have like you can go anywhere anytime. So I came to Bali, and to be honest, it just has everything. Like it's warm, it's safe, it's cheap. Uh, there's nature. It's healthy. It's spiritual. There's attractive people. There's interesting people. There's entrepreneurs. It's the only downside is just like in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, like I would highly recommend, especially if someone's starting a business. The only potential downside is there's a lot of social stuff going on here, so you need to lock in. But if someone came here and they wanted to start a business, they could last a long time with whatever money they have, and they could meet a lot of really interesting people and just live a healthy life to start up their business. You don't need to play on hard mode living in New York paying 4K per month rent to start your business. You can live where it's warm and cheap, and everyone is very sociable and friendly here.
That's amazing. I have a lot of friends that actually went to Bali to go live. Do you know what's his name? Jared? I forget what his last name
No.
is. So he has IRL, and he basically was creating, I forget in which city, but he left and he went to Bali, and he basically started these in-person events. It was amazing. So I'm actually glad that you guys are there. You'll probably connect. Um, I've been seeing you have sunglasses on. So I
Yeah.
wanted to get into this because I absolutely love the videos, the content you've been posting. Have you always been a personable guy? Like, be able to go up to anyone, talk to them, create conversation, or have you had to develop that throughout the years?
Yeah, so as I wanted to grow my Instagram recently to help more people, an idea I had is I could just go do street interviews, and that's a much faster way to grow, to then be more effective at helping people. Now, in the past, I had not like crippling social anxiety, but definitely moderate social anxiety. And I worked on it over time, but sometimes you say hi to people, then you don't for a week, you just go back to your shell, and it's like, was I ever that person? I think a lot of people can relate to having these periods where you're very charismatic and talk to everybody and you're out of your head, to these other periods where like you're super awkward and your friend's way cooler than you, and like, what's wrong with me? Was I ever that person? And as I found that, like, even a year ago when I was less happy, as I mentioned, I was a lot more in my own shell and not truly interested in people and not just like vibing with the world. And as I did this spiritual retreat in October, as I did yoga teacher training in January, as I read books by Eckhart Tolle, uh, amazing stuff, as I realized all this stuff and I like did introspection and I learned, yeah, self reflection and introspection through Will Coomer, if you know him.
Yeah.
He taught me that. I've become a lot happier, and now I believe most people are cool and interesting people. When you have that vibe, you portray yourself, carry yourself differently when you assume people are cool. And then ironically, they respond differently to you and they open up. Now, I posted this video last night of this Russian girl. I make a funny joke. She's like, that I have like the same Crocs as her, but mine are pink. And she just like looks at her phone and walks off. And it's like, it just doesn't impact me anymore because like she's kind of the weird one where like we're on this beautiful beach for sunset and I make a funny joke with a smile and she's like staring at her phone. So I don't really take things too personally anymore. I definitely developed charisma over the past year through spiritual work and just having a more positive demeanor in life. I still have social anxiety in some ways. I think I'm actually going to go a bit harder onto pushing the boundaries of that, whether that's I find someone super attractive, whether it's just like a group of five guys chatting, because that'd be kind of awkward to say hi to them as well. And I might just like pivot out. Like I might just start posting those videos. Like I think they're kind of interesting and inspiring for people that I don't want it to just be like meet girls. Like I'm dating someone anyways, but more that like the world is a friendly place. You can make friends. You can meet interesting people. You can be socially free. Your life will get much better. This is how I got my crypto clients. I went to conferences and I said hi to people, and you can get dates and get your dream person doing that too. So it's something I'm just exploring.
That you just said so much right there that I love. Guys, that was gold just in itself. I've so much to unpack right there, actually. Okay, first of all, those videos absolutely love. You should keep on doing it. Um, with going up to people and talking to people, do you have any advice for someone who's having trouble doing that, or for someone who's looking to go to these conferences to bring on more clients to their business, something like that? Any advice on how to actually do that genuinely, because I know there's a lot of people who, whether it's on social media or just in person, you could feel it's not genuine when it comes from them. And also, in the past, I've even had trouble going up to people and starting conversation because I didn't know what to say and I was in my own head.
Yeah, I think like where girls or people at conferences get kind of weirded out is when you say hi and you like have this secret agenda and you're not being like kind of transparent. Like when I'm just going in like kind of making a joke to someone with a smile, I'm almost just like giving good vibes and not expecting anything in return, which is why I'm okay if they walk away. But because I don't even know what a stranger is like. If I go say hi to someone at a conference, I don't know if they could benefit me. I don't know if I could benefit them. Maybe they're a CEO of an important company, but maybe they're just a rude person and I would never even want to work for them or have them in my life. So the same is kind of like with a girl. Again, I'm not trying to like be this like dating guy, but I think myself in the past and a lot of guys have this like kind of desperation about them when they say hi to a girl, like, can I get her number? Will she like me, etc. Versus, is she just a cool person? Because maybe I say hi to her and she's like this party girl, but she's really funny and I wouldn't date her, but I could go play paddle with her. I could bring her to an event my friends are doing. Like she could just be an awesome person. So it kind of flips the script to where I'm actually trying to figure out who they are. And obviously, you know, this doesn't just happen overnight. And if you are trying to like talk to someone at a conference, at a cafe, whatever, I think it's really hard if you're not used to doing it. Momentum is very powerful in anything in life. So I still get in my head and actually filmed a video on this like 2 days ago while I was at the beach. And usually when you just say hi to one or two people and you get one good reaction and have one good conversation, you get into the social flow. And then the next day, it might still be a little hard, but it gets much easier. And if you're in the context of like a conference, I knew a lot about crypto. I was very passionate about crypto. So I never even doubted that someone would want to talk about to me because I could ask interesting questions about their project. I could give them ideas. I could, if they didn't want to talk, is like totally fine. Like it's a crypto conference, the average social skill level isn't that high, to be honest. Uh, so it kind of depends on like the context. Also having self-belief, which people always talk about this, just feel good about yourself, just be yourself, which is so easy to say, but it doesn't really mean much. For me, the more I follow my word, the more self-belief I have. I said I was going to quit my job. I said I was going to do my master's. I said I was going to find a job after. I said I was going to quit that job and move to Colombia. I said I was moved to Bali. I said I'd find my dream villa with a pool. I said I'd make interesting friends. I said I'd get up early, do yoga every morning. The more I keep doing what I say I'm going to do, the more if I say, wow, that person looks interesting, I want to say hi, okay, I'm not going to do it. Like that's almost not in my reality and my identity anymore to go back on what I truly want. So there's almost this pain when I don't listen to myself anymore. It's hard to describe. But I think the more someone is true to themselves and can actually take action when they don't feel like it, they build up this trust and self-confidence in themselves. And naturally pain will come up, like, and you have to explore that pain. Like, why do I care what this person thinks about me? Why do I think that this conference, nobody would hire me? And then you explore these pains, these cringe moments, these social anxieties, this deep-rooted pain to go under the surface behind what's there and not judge it, not judge yourself, which kind of gets more to the spiritual side, but a lot to unpack there as well, maybe. But yeah.
Go into it. Yeah, go and unpack that.
Which part?
I mean, I'd say the whole thing, but basically, two things that really hit me was one, you're the killer of your own confidence when you don't stick to your word. And the second thing in being that when you feel that pain, when you feel something, going into it and learning, everyone online seems to be talking on social media about personal development, going into the spiritual side, and it seems like it's a fad, but then once you actually go into it yourself, there's so much to just uncover, and it's a whole life journey. It's not just one thing.
Yeah. So on the first point, I mean, a good example is let's say someone is obese and they keep saying they want to get healthy and exercise, but then they keep eating the chocolate cake and sitting on the couch watching Netflix. These are like more negative emotions of like shame and guilt that you feel compared to when you're authentic and you're loving and you have abundance in your life and positivity. These are like the more positive emotions, vibrations, whatever you call them. And when you keep saying that you're going to live this cool life, or you're going to read this book, or you're going to start the side business you've been thinking about, and you keep ignoring your intuition and what you say you're going to do, it is a bit more that it might not be surface level guilt, but it's weighing on your consciousness at some level. And the more you're true to yourself, which is why I've gone out of crypto already, and I knew I didn't like doing it. The more you're true to yourself, it gets you in this upward spiral. And it can just be baby steps. It could just be like, buy this book. I mean, I would suggest anybody buys The Power of Now.
Yeah.
But even just doing like simple steps gets you in this positive direction and builds self-confidence. So, and then moving beyond that, if you do start your own business, or you want to grow in your company or anything, you kind of realize like you can't always be waiting for that future moment. And they say that you're not just going to be happy once you have money or once you have this house in Bali, but you kind of have to experience that yourself and then realize, are you just treating life as a means to an end? Will you be happy once you're married and have a boyfriend? Or because we only ever have the present moment, which is a key concept in the book. So is the present moment a barrier to you and an obstacle to what you actually want? Because a lot of these happy emotions, people that are poor in Colombia are happier than a lot of Americans or Canadians. And so to actually get to become the best version of yourself, you have to peel back these layers, because even if you make money, even if you have the partner that you want, all of your insecurities and past stuff will come up sooner or later. And if you actually want to be happy, if you actually want to have meaningful relationships and be the best version of yourself and ultimately make more money and have whatever you want, you need to address this stuff, and they will come up. And I figured that out like a year ago and started working towards it. I've always seen money as like a lever for fixing the things about my life and myself that I want to. So I leveraged the money to do the spiritual retreat, to do the yoga training, to do Will Coomer's course, which is also amazing, to, do what I wanted to feel better, which has worked incredibly. So that's kind of my thought. And I think that other people can discover it at their own pace. But once you have money and freedom, that's just, it just goes back to your baseline. And then if you're still unhappy because there's all this stuff under the surface, you think the world's a scary, negative place and people are out to get you, you won't be happy once you have the money or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. On the topic of money, this is interesting to me to hear your thoughts on this. When you were doing 30K per month writing, what is your take on charging more for better service, on how to price your stuff, how to sell?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was doing 2 articles for 3.5K US. I try to find crypto writers to write under me, and they're, charging less, but they're just like not very good at all. So I differentiated by like adding custom graphics, higher quality work output, creating Twitter threads as well. So I definitely went the path of charge higher rates. I don't think it makes sense to race to the bottom in terms of price. Um, and then usually the bar is actually pretty low if you look at the competition and anything. Like most people are kind of just scraping by. So if you can differentiate, get case studies, testimonials, that all helps. But yeah, definitely asking people what their problems are and pain points and figuring out how you can help them and going and doing it. I think anybody can do that. And yeah, raising your rates just is a natural progression.
Got you. Do you think, because you said you had a girlfriend, correct?
Sort of, maybe.
Okay.
So I met her in Poland. She was just here for several weeks. It went great. She just went back to Poland, and now it's kind of like me, like she's pretty cool. So should I do it? Like, should I go to Poland this summer? It's kind of in that phase.
Got you. So 2 questions on that. Very interesting to me. Number one, do you believe that sales, becoming like an assassin in sales, helps out in the social life and in dating? And the second part to that is, in today's day and age, when there's so many people, guys and girls, men and females, well, I guess it's because what you focus on, you get. What you look for, you get. But finding the right person for you, for someone, finding the right girl that possibly you're not looking for someone who goes out to the club every single night, who is interested in drinking. How do you find that one, in your opinion, that is right for you, that's meant for you in a world that seems so kind of upside down and flipped than back in the traditional days?
Yeah, so there's a lot of parallels between sales and dating. To be honest, I've never been very good at sales. I wouldn't say I was a natural at dating either. But for example, holding I don't I don't know how to go into like the parallels, but being able to get rejected, being able to go after what you want, being able to have boundaries or hold your ground if and to make it win-win and to there's just a lot of parallels. So as I've developed my ability to ask clients for more money or to do outreach and get rejected or to have awkward situations on sales calls, so too has my social skills day to day. At the end of the day, people want good vibes and to be around people they like. They buy from people they like. You're not going to date someone you don't like either. And so the more I've improved my charisma, my speaking skills, my ability to understand someone else's point of view, both have definitely benefited. And for actually, going out and getting who you want, I mean, like, I think there's good people at the club. I think there's bad people at yoga. I think you can't judge too much based on where you meet them. But also, like, I said yes to the club when I got to Bali. I'm not a club person, but I was just saying yes to everything. And I met my current roommate. She's super cool, Zoe. And I met some other interesting people. And it's not a world, I want to go too deep into, but you can still have a good time and just not judge it. And I saw it as like almost training for staying grounded at the club because it's so chaotic and everyone's drunk. For me, though, yeah, to meet someone on your wavelength, I mean, the obvious one is just do stuff you actually enjoy. If I go to yoga events and meetups, I will find people I like. If I go to wellness events, to the spa, to the sauna, and of course, at a certain point, especially if you're a guy, you need to be able to say hi to people. And sort of stuff I said earlier, like not having this like frame or dynamic of like, will this person like me? Am I good enough? But just more like this person seems cool. Like I'm just gonna say hi and not have any pressure. And you can just make a small observation about them. I've gotten very good at observing stuff, which is why in the video I point out her white Crocs and relate it to my pink Crocs. But it's almost like if I was talking to you, like if you were wearing white Crocs, like I just might think of that joke. But I'm just like I've gotten so relaxed and out of my head that like just stuff that I find funny, I will say. When you're saying it for yourself, you also get in this upward spiral. Whereas if you're saying it for someone else, then their negative reaction brings you down. So I think for people just getting out there, actually meeting people, saying hi, not just assuming I'm going to date this person or they're useless to me. Like there's a lot of very interesting people that can teach you a lot and can just be friends. And sharing good vibes in the world and working on your own inner beliefs and how you view the world will attract the people you want. And I know the type of people I want to accept into my life or that I keep at arm's length. And that's totally fine. I'll still respect them. But that saves me a lot of time as well. Because you at a certain point, you can't hang out with everybody.
You're talking about creating boundaries for yourself and for the people that you surround yourself with, right? Boundaries and values and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like I won't hang out with guys that have toxic views on women or that are just negative in the world or that are, drug addicts or anything like that. Like I just know what type of person I want to be. Same with women. Like I have a lot of female friends now, but in general, they're all like very positive, smiley, good vibes, joke around. I was with my friend yesterday and his friend showed up and she was like talking about all these like crazy drug trips in Ibiza and like it's just like not someone I want to like chill with. I mean, crazier stuff than that, but I'm just like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Like, I'll chat with her, but like, I'm not going to bring her into my life, because like, it's just something I don't want. So maybe not like firm boundaries. Like, I'll still, chat with these people, but I'm just a busy person. You're a busy person. I think in general for people, the more you like don't have boundaries and you allow that old friend of yours to talk down on you or to be unsupportive or to yeah, you kind of need to be with people that are like on your side and make you better.
Yeah, I love that idea of being very intentional with who you let around you and also your time. One of the things that I used to struggle with was letting everyone stay around me, and it used to suck my energy out so quickly, get me into a negative state, negative emotions, and then also with my time, just giving it out. And once I started creating values for myself and boundaries, it seemed like everything started to actually open up and life became a lot better, whether people are pissed off at you that they don't meet those boundaries or they do fall inside of it, but it's very, very specific to who you let in. Curious, you probably just said this as well, but when you went to Bali, who were you looking to meet? Was there anyone specifically like, okay, these are my boundaries, this is what I like to have, this is what I'm doing, these are the type of people that I want to meet and build into my network? Or is it kind of like you were saying before with the sunglasses of just interested in going up to XYZ person, meeting them, seeing what they're about, and take it where it is?
Yeah, so I started living with the Raw Global guys, if you know them, Tom Strickland and
Yeah, I
Tommy.
love them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I spent 2 months there. Really solid guys. And for that, the intention was, I mean, they're just cool guys. I love being there, but obviously they're around a lot of models and that kind of nightlife world as well. And I just kind of realized it wasn't for me. Like I just on average, the people I met, I didn't vibe with as much as, for example, in like the more Uluwatu community where I am now, or like at the wellness events. So I took that as like a kind of a period of just self discovery. I kind of realized that I tried it out, which is important for people to actually you can just try out stuff, see if it's actually for you and how you feel. But then my friend, another guy from Poland, he's originally from Berlin. He came to Bali. We got this like dream villa together. Invited that girl I met at the club, Zoe, and like they're just like a bit more my wavelength, at least on average. Um, so I'm still, saying hi to people and meeting people and bringing them into my life. And we were doing yoga events here, which I was teaching. So we'd have like 15 people each class, and we'll invite people to the beach and other stuff. But yeah, I kind of just use like self discovery, still being social, but like testing out the different sub niches of whatever you call it, community here, and discovering I like more the like just chill beach, like a little less of like the nightlife model scene.
Yeah. Do you said you read The Power of Now, right? Do you think that's been the most impactful book that you've read?
Yeah, I think so. I was doing that spiritual retreat in Arizona. This retreat was crazy. Like I would highly
Sedona?
recommend it to people, but it's like it was weird. Yeah, it was like a 2 week retreat called shamanic de-armoring, where the idea is that when you're young, stuff happens to you and we can't process it at a conscious level, and it forms this like stuck energy on our body called armor. And through breath work and some other twists, I won't bring up here, you can essentially de-armor yourself and be more free. And at the same time, I was reading The Power of Now, and I basically was like spiritually high for like a month after, if you've ever had that.
Wow. Yeah.
And yeah, it awakened me, if people know that term, where you separate from your thoughts. So it's where you're not caught up in your thoughts all day, every day, all the time with this constant dialogue in your mind, but you actually step back and you're observing your thoughts, which is something you practice through meditation. So now every time I have negative thoughts, what should I say next? Will people like what I said on this podcast? What should I do next after today? You just realize, oh wait, these are thoughts, these aren't actually me, and you become the observer. So it kind of awakened me, and it's awakened a lot of people when they're ready. His other book as well, A New Earth, is also extremely powerful. But those two books for sure.
Have you read what's it called? Robert Anthony Beyond Positive Thinking?
No, it's good.
Yeah, really, really like that book as well. I think though The Power of Now is definitely a legendary book. I remember reading that. I have it in my bookshelf right behind me. I always go back into it once in a while, but I was on the plane and I was reading it, and every page I kept on turning. I'm like, whoa, whoa. You're so right.
Yeah,
You're so
it made
right.
me it made me believe in God and all that. Before I was just like, there's no man in the sky passing judgment,
Really?
which I still don't think. But yeah, it introduces a different concept
Interesting.
of God. Yeah, very powerful for anyone interested in feeling better.
That's really powerful. Interesting. Wow. Do you It's actually an interesting topic. I so I used to actually be I grew up as Catholic, Roman Catholic, and then I basically pushed away from it because it felt like it was getting shoved down my throat. and I went into spirituality. And now I'm basically experiencing things back and forth. But I'm curious to hear what in that book made you go from one belief to the other, or at least being open to learning more.
I think people will recognize a lot of truths in themselves when they're reading the book. For example, the concept of the pain body, which you could call being triggered or anything like that. But like the people that annoy you the most might have some part of you in them that you can't accept. Like for me, people that keep saying they're going to do something but never do it. And realizing like the ego in me and how that's driven me a lot in the past, and how I've just always been in my head with these repetitive loops. So there's not like one sentence. In A New Earth, there's this one really good sentence I was like reading again last night, which is basically, what is your relationship with the present moment? Because the present moment is all we ever have in life. So asking yourself, what is your relationship with the present moment, is asking, what is your relationship with life? Because many people see it as an obstacle. I need to go to the office today so that I can get home after work and then have dinner with my friends. And always like, so you're treating like the entire day as this obstacle to finally living your life, compared to accepting the present moment, whatever happens, and being fully present and not seeing it as an obstacle in the way of what you want. Like, so when bad things happen to you, like how much are you resisting it? It's like when you do an ice bath or anything, when you resist what happens to you and when you resist life, there's a lot of pain and suffering compared to just accepting the good and the bad that happen and not even labeling them. Like, because a lot of the worst things that happened to me and you actually have turned out to be good. They've helped us in many ways to become who we are. Just like many good things that have happened might have actually had negative downsides. So not labeling stuff as good as bad and accepting life and enjoying it.
That's really powerful. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Have you been doing cold plunges in Bali a lot?
Dude, I used to be a savage like 2 years ago, and now I'm kind of soft. I don't know why, but I have,
Me
just not
too.
for like 3 5 minutes. Just yeah, just like quick dips. But
That's it's everywhere in Bali, right? I mean,
yeah,
Bali's like the health center, I feel like, of the world.
so good here.
I was actually supposed to go to Bali, I think like 2 years ago. I actually booked a hotel room, an Airbnb, everything, and then I think I messed up dates a lot. I'm so bad with dates. It's crazy. It's amazing there though. What's behind you? Just straight up jungle?
Yeah, my other Wi-Fi was having a bit of issues, so this is just like the patio. But we have like this like, I'm paying 1,100 US rent for my room, but we have this like massive pool, nice yard, huge office. Like our place is massive. I'm like, for this price in Vancouver, Canada, where I'm from, you could get like nothing. And so it's, yeah,
That's brilliant for people who are starting out. I mean,
yeah,
live in Bali, build out a business, live cheap, live beautifully.
incredible here.
The food too, though, right?
Yeah, the food's pretty healthy as well. Yeah, there's like whatever you want, yoga, Pilates, workout classes, nice gyms, cold plunges, saunas. It's all pretty cheap.
Hmm.
Food's pretty cheap. Depending on what you do, like you can go to five-star restaurants and pay like 30 US or 20 US per meal, just still cheap.
That's
So
ridiculous.
I
That's
would highly
insane.
recommend it for someone that just wants to live a cool life and start making money and get around very interesting people. There's a lot of, it's much better. You don't have to play life on hard mode in an expensive cold city. And as well, I think changing your environment is something that worked very powerfully for me, because when you're with all your friends that have their habits of like drinking or whatever on a Friday night, it's very hard to break out of that. They're all going to judge you or ask you why you're changing or anything, compared to when I changed my environment and I moved to Medellin. I'm suddenly with all these guys making money online who have a very different view of the world and a lot of abundance around money and don't drink. And that really like opened up my world and made it much, much faster to change as a person myself. So if someone is considering it, I think there's a lot of nomad hubs around the world. Bali, Colombia, many places in Europe, and you can meet very interesting people that are on your wavelength. And dude, the irony about this stuff is like, I've just been thinking about this. I'm like slightly bitter about it, which is why it's just like the people that are back in Canada that say I'm superficial for hanging around guys with money. they're never the ones that are sending me supportive messages. It's
Mm-hmm.
always the guys that make money that are they're sending me the supportive messages and helping me become my best self. And I have like I truly connect with on many levels. So it's just like something's like kind of bothered me that like the people that hate are never like the ones that are actually like there for me. And I don't know if you've noticed that yourself, but it's kind of funny.
I 100% agree with you. I think it's really funny that that happens a lot. I think I heard this quote the other day, which is, um, assume the best out of people and let them prove you wrong. Time will tell and time will sort it out. Yeah, I think that was it. That was, I absolutely love that quote. I think I have that saved on Instagram.
Yeah,
Question for
yeah.
you. So I have the belief that, like you said before, the good can be the bad can be the good. In everything that happens to us in life, we can take something from it to learn from it. I truly believe that in the hardships of life, planted there to give us lessons in life to help us grow. Um, for me, basically forgot to structure me into who I need to be to have what I will have in the future. What is one of the hardest things that you think you've gone through up to this point in your life? What was it, and what'd you learn from it?
The hardest thing in my life. Wow, tough one. Um, yeah, I haven't really talked about this much, but when I was in Colombia, I got drugged by a woman, and
In a club?
no, at my place,
Interesting.
and woke up without my computer, my phone, my camera, a bunch of other stuff. And I was actually pretty calm about it, but I think at like a deep level, it kind of was like, why would I even hang out with someone who, how could I have missed like any cues, and why would I even hang out with someone who would do that? Like, what got me to this point? And I'm trying to pinpoint like why I just stopped dating the last 2 years and been searching for someone like very special with really good traits to have a deep connection with. And I think it was kind of that as a low point really shifted my sexual energy and my focus on who I want to spend my time with. And I guess I could say I don't consider it like this low point where I'm like, I'm like all sad and depressed.
Yeah.
I suck. But when I think back to like what was a pivotal time in my life and what do I actually find uncomfortable to talk about, it's that. And that's negative by many standards, but also it kind of changed me on this good path where now I'm very careful about who I bring into my life and I'm much more intentional. And I think it's ultimately made me a lot better person.
I love that. What are your thoughts on dating multiple people versus not dating and searching slash letting the right person come into your life when it's time?
I think it's kind of the intention behind it. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with dating multiple people, but if they all think you're exclusive and you're lying to them, or if you're doing it just to feel this, like, to fill this, like, hole that you have, and it's out of desperation, I think, that's not the same as just being someone who truly wants to they're in a period of their life where they want to date multiple people and the people know about this and it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think kind of looking internally and seeing what's best for you. But if you do want to find that special person, I think you definitely can just stumble upon them in your life, but oftentimes you might want to choose them out of abundance, not just because they're the first person that likes you. So, because I think a lot of people end up with someone just because they feel like there's not any better or other options. And striking that balance between where you have options, but you're not just like desperate for them, but you can actually find someone you have a great time with. It's a tough question I'm asking myself right now, but I can kind of sense internally that I don't want to sleep around and I'm not looking for validation. I still like, doing these like funny conversations with cute girls because it does well on Instagram and it's kind of just fun to do. But I'm not trying to like do anything with them. Like I'm just kind of focused on myself. So for me, I am looking for that special person.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you think sleeping around screws up people internally and later on in life because of that chemistry that goes on. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I've thought about this as well because like you have like these one communities that are saying if someone slept around, like you shouldn't date them, and like personally, I wouldn't want to date someone who like went to the club every weekend for 5 years and did a ton of drugs and slept with 100 people. Like I'm sure they could still be a great partner, but personally, that's just not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I would presume there's a correlation between this stuff, how reserved someone has been or careful or selective, and how much they might be able to be with someone long term. Like Eastern Europeans, for example, marry younger and they're much more careful with who they sleep around with compared to maybe North American culture. The divorce rate is also high in Eastern Europe. I presume that's just because like a lot of the guys are like alcoholics or something.
Really?
I had this
Interesting.
chat with a girl from Poland because she's from Belarus. But yeah, just like they got their own dysfunctional stuff there going on. Um,
I didn't even know that. That's interesting.
yeah, it's tough to say. Like I think like my past has probably impacted me negatively around relationships as well. Sleeping around more in the past compared to now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with like sleeping around if you actually like enjoy it. Like sex is natural and normal, but kind of the reason behind it is always important. Like, are you using it to get self-esteem and validation from other people to fill this hole because you're kind of wandering through life aimlessly, or are you truly having great connections? Because I think there's like the good sex where it's someone you have a great connection with and a good experience, and then there's the negative experiences where it's like someone you don't really like, you don't want to see in the morning, etc. And I think each can have a very different impact on you internally and give you energy or take away energy.
Yeah, 100%. It's actually funny talking about this because without bringing up any names or too much information, there's this friend that I know that, in my opinion, he's basically waiting around for someone to come and basically say, "Okay, I'll start dating you." But it's been going on for years, and I feel so bad because it's like, wake up, man. You
Yeah,
got to move on. You got to move on. Like, if they're not giving you the time of day, do some self reflection. What are you actually trying to look for in life? I feel like a lot of people get hung up on that. And I say that because that used to be me until I was able to push past it. And it was actually something in the moment, it was really hard. But after it, it's kind of like it clicked, like I jumped over a hurdle and I just excelled.
yeah, definitely. Um, it's the same as anything in life. Like you got to go after what you want, especially like the masculine energy. Like women, depending on which continent they're in, for example, like in Colombia or Eastern Europe, they can just be a lot more, go with the flow, and like the man's more the provider compared to North America. But at least like the masculine energy, like you need to go actually after what you want. Like you can't just expect your dream partner to come out of nowhere. You can't expect to make money and build your dream life out of nowhere. You can't expect anything. You have to actually take action if you want that good body, that good mind, or anything. So, but momentum's super powerful. Just the more you do it, it's just hard when you're starting. I need to keep momentum with doing videos. I'm gonna go film like maybe 3 hours on the street today, and like I don't just wake up ready to talk to the world. Like I'll have some funny videos from it though. But yeah,
I love seeing that. Do you edit yourself?
no, I got an editor. Wouldn't make sense. I should probably learn it, but I just rather let like save my time.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm loving it's what is it, the Ray-Bans with the do people ever
Yeah.
ask you like, "Hey, are you filming?"
So with some of the interviews, most of them I'm like asking for permission before, but
Interesting.
the one that got like I just started with the one that got 12,000 views was like this lady didn't know I was filming. And the one last night of the girl like ignoring me, she didn't know I was filming. So I think the reactions are kind of funnier when I don't tell them.
Yeah.
So maybe if I'm asking what they do for work and they're at a cafe, like I'll tell them. And then maybe if they're just on the street and I say something funny and just try to have a conversation, then maybe I won't tell them. I'm not too sure yet.
You know, you're inspiring me to get these glasses, to be honest with you.
it's a good way to grow a channel and just have fun conversations. It's good.
I think I might do that because I'm loving that. I loving that idea. Number one, great content. Number two, you'll be able to replay yourself, see what you do, see what you could fix, see what you could improve on. It's just an endless loop.
I can't wait till all the haters come and like pointing out what I should have said differently while while they're like on their couch and then like in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. Good. Good that you brought that up. Actually, what do you do? How do you navigate haters? Because I know a lot of people get triggered off of them. I've had moments where I try and use that energy and just redirect it back in a positive way. How do you navigate that? Does it affect you at all?
I mean, I'm not, I think I will be big on social media, but I'm not there yet. So it's just something starting out. Like someone yesterday commented, classic American, I didn't realize you guys go past Mexico on my video. And it's like, first of all, I'm not American. Second of all, like, I don't know, this guy has like 15 followers, like no photos. I'm just like, it's never cool people that hate on you, which is interesting. Oh, I'm trying to like feel more compassion for these people that they're at that point where they actually just like hate. Yeah, I think it's something I need to navigate. Like when I do, this is kind of what comes back to what I was saying earlier. Like when you do get bothered by this, like actually examining why. Like, do you need everybody to like your videos or to think it's cool to talk to a stranger on the street? I say no, but if I get bothered, then maybe that's not true. I need to examine that. But I think there'll be a certain point where I'll get, maybe it'll be one video I get a lot of hate and I'll need to deal with that when the time comes. I'm not too worried about it right now, but I think people are enjoying the videos for now, so whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Switching topics real quick before wrap this up. When you were doing the writing, how were you able to scale that to 30 a month?
Yeah, so I was stuck around 10K for a while and then I hired a mentor for 7K. And at the end of the day, they kind of just like told me to do more sales outreach and to like review my sales calls. It was nothing like groundbreaking, but because I paid them, there's that pain there, and I started following up with people a lot more. I also hired a VA, which is pretty cheap, like $5 an hour, and
Wow.
she would just do mass outreach on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I started getting a lot more sales calls. And what got me there was selling. There's something called documentation in crypto. It's just like a notebook online that explains the project. Like, what is our vision? How do we work? How can you get involved? And I started doing those for like 10K US. So if I was at 20K already, then I get one of those per month. And that got me up there or above it. So yeah. But again, I don't know. It's like, it was almost the same thing. I just have like six bosses now. So I'd rather just like talk with you and like help people in ways that helped me and like be my authentic self online. I feel like that's just the next evolution, and other people might go through it themselves, where you start to make money online and you're like, this is just a glorified job, but how could you do this for another 20 years? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think people can leverage if someone's looking to get into that? Is it more so manually themselves, or can they leverage AI to help out with that?
You can kind of tell when stuff's AI. If they could edit it or just charge lower prices, it's definitely possible. I think that the more money is in like Twitter ghostwriting for executives or for projects nowadays than for blogs. And I just never found Twitter that exciting or understood it. Maybe I should have gone into it. I was just kind of tired of crypto at that point. But yeah, like if you could figure out how to write tweets, like I'm sure it's possible to just take a lot of tweets from a top account, figure out their reply guy strategy, and to create a custom AI bot that does that. So for my purposes, it was more of a tool. They got
Yeah.
me like 70% of the way, but I'm sure there's a lot, and it's advancing so quickly. It's actually a scary time to be average because like you're kind of screwed in the future if you have this job that's like replaceable. And like, there's going to be crazy climate change. There's going to be more inflation. There's so many things that can go wrong in the next 5 or 10 years that if you're not making money online and differentiating yourself somehow, like it could be scary. So I'm a little worried for the world, at least for like, the lower class people, because, Africa, Asia, like there's going to be like droughts and other stuff. It's a bit scary.
It aggravates me so much, tips me off when people say that it's so hard to make actual money, specifically online. And then the older generations are like, well, you can't do that. You got to go into a corporate job. You got to work for 50 years to make money. And next thing you know, it's like if you just open your eyes a little, you'd be able to see the opportunities that are coming to you. And yeah, I think AI is just, it's cool, but it's also scary. It's just evolving so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity out there, but you kind of need that readiness to like go after it and a bit of different mindset. Even just me and you, we have like marketing fundamentals and we've spoken with a lot of people making money online. So it's also easier for us to see opportunity as well. So, I mean, if someone's listening, I would also just recommend like reaching out to me or Zach, like on Instagram. And the more like you say amazing podcast, this point was great. We obviously appreciate that. And then we're likely to help you. And I've been good at doing this myself, like building a network of people around the world. But I have so many people on my side now that give me ideas, etc. And that's very important if someone is in a city and all their friends aren't on their wavelength, to start building out this network and build genuine friendships. Like, don't just try and use us to get information and never talk to us. Just it's always better when you're authentic and genuine in life. But that's like a good start.
Last two questions. First one is, with building meaningful connections, number one, how can you, in your opinion, figure out, let me try to word this properly, make it easy as possible. How do you know if someone's actually being meaningful versus it's just a fake relationship?
I think there's like subtleties and how they come up. Like, if every time they reach out, are they just asking for something? Do they ever offer help? When you ask for advice from them, do they help? You can kind of tell. And I think you'll naturally gravitate to the people that you have like genuine relationships with. It's definitely possible at some point a friend disappears, but sometimes they're just going through their own stuff and it's nothing personal. Uh, I've been pretty good at making genuine friendships with people. And, some people, they just maybe keep me at arm's length because they just are in a different path or don't vibe with me naturally as much. And I don't take that personally. It's all good. But yeah, it's kind of just it is a bit of a numbers game. Like, you're not going to vibe with everybody, just like when you're in school or in any situation. Like, you're not going to vibe with everybody, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't just like spread good vibes and meet people. And a lot of my really good friends have come from online communities, like Arlen Moore's group
Yeah,
Tribe is what I joined 2 years ago. And like all those guys, Nabil, Sean, Akash, like my best friends now, all crushing it.
I love them. I
Yeah.
tried too, so that was awesome. I remember
Oh,
I did
nice.
that when I was
Yeah,
in
so
college.
good.
I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah. 1.5K US to like make a huge network of cool people on your path is like a steal.
Oh, 100%. So, what is next for you?
I'm basically figuring out what I actually want to do online. I hired Wade Houston for coaching, if you know him, and he's
Yeah.
basically saying do like group coaching on everything you've overcome, spirituality, make money online, discipline, mindset. I don't know if that's for me. I'm also debating, do I help people work online? But there's a bit of like, I think people can be a little tough to convince to like spend money or to move online if they're just starting out. So I don't know if it's even a good offer. And then these videos of me talking to girls are kind of resonating. I've only put out a couple, but I have a bunch more. So it's like, should I teach guys social freedom and confidence? I don't want to be like a weird pickup guy, but like I could teach it from a very healthy angle that women respect as well. So I'm basically just putting out content to keep momentum, but figuring out what resonates with people and how I'm going to make money. I'm pretty sure I will, and I have enough savings to last a while anyways. But I'm toying with all of them right now.
That's awesome. Well, keeping the momentum. Where can people find you?
Yeah, Lachlan Alex Todd on Instagram. Lachlan, Alex Todd.
We'll link you in the bio, get everything set up in the bio so everyone can go and see. Guys, definitely follow along. I'm really looking forward to also seeing more of these clips with the glasses.
You're so funny.
And any last comments, any last things you want to share with the audience?
No, it was a pleasure. Yeah, thanks for having me. Guys, if you watched, I love meeting new people. Feel free to reach out, and cheers, guys. Thanks,
Love
Zach.
it. Thank you guys for watching the Divergent podcast. Hope you guys have an amazing day. And again, like Lachlan said, anything that you got amazingly from this podcast that you liked, that you took away a value, put it in the comment, comment, share it for other people, and hit up Lachlan, hit up me. Appreciate you guys. On to the next one.